station.
Welcome back. Coming up on Tuesday, a longtime Wisconsin legislator will return to public office. Last Tuesday, Gordon Hintz beat out incumbent John Damel in the race for Winnebago County Executive. Hintz served in the state legislature for 16 years, including 4 as Assembly Minority Leader, before stepping away in January of 23. The homegrown Oshkosh product will now move into county government when his term begins on Tuesday. And we welcome in Gordon Hintz, soon to be the new Winnebago County Executive. As we mentioned, that starts on Tuesday. And I know you've been asked about this a lot, Gordon, about coming back to public service after all those times in the legislature and a few years out. But now that you've won the election and you're going back in, does it feel similar to when you won all those elections as an assemblyman?
I'm older now, and it is it's a different job, and it's a different level of government. I certainly was excited and proud to serve in the state legislature and proud of my record there. But this is something different, and it really allows me to be involved in the greater community, and I think that's something that I missed.
All right, have you had a chance to kind of really pinpoint what will be different about serving at the county level versus the state level?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one of 99 representatives.
True.
I'm the CEO, for the county. This is the executive branch. It's not the legislative branch. That's the role of the county board. And so part of my job is to put the best information in front of the county board so they can make the best decisions and try to, shape the county in a way that helps everyone.
All right, so the board essentially is your legislative branch, and so you've served in that, you know what that's like. How can that experience help move the board along, like you said?
Well, that was one of the things I really highlighted in the campaign is I've had to work with people on both sides of the aisle to bring resolution to issues. I also served as the minority leader, which took me leading, people from all over the state with different interests, different backgrounds, and try to get them on the same page. And so, we have people that represent cities, towns, rural areas, villages, different parts of the county, but we need them to think collectively and put the county's best interest first. And, I think that is certainly challenging at times, but I think my skill set and my ability to work with people and with organizations is something that will help me tremendously in this role.
Of course, one of the other things you did in the legislature, you served on the Joint Finance Committee, so you know what it's like to go through a budget process. You've been on that side of it when counties have come calling to state government saying, we need this, we'd like this, we'd like this. You're on the other end of that now. How does that experience help you navigate kind of getting what you need for Winnebago County?
Well, I think it helps a lot. I mean, I still have a lot of friends in Madison, in the legislature, in the governor's office. I know how the process works. I know the Wisconsin Counties Association. I know a lot of the other county executives in the state. Counties are arms of the state. A lot of state, we do what a lot of state mandated responsibilities. And so a lot of it is trying to make sure that the funding follows what the state is requiring us to do. The state operates on a 2-year budget. The county operates on a 1-year budget. So we need to be thinking, that far ahead, that, right now in these odd numbered years are really our opportunity to make sure that the state is thinking of counties. And so they're going to be making their decisions right after I get started, and I'll have to get to work on that as well.
There is some uncertainty. We've talked about it many times on this program. Obviously, you're aware of it with federal funding levels. How will that kind of impact how you go about asking the state for what you need, not knowing where the trickle down starts and ends?
Well, I hope everybody is thinking about that. A lot of federal funding that goes to the states could impact the money from the states to the county. I expect to meet with department heads and with, at the county level to see about direct federal funding or, potential state lost funding and how that impacts us and how we would make that up. So we have to be able to, plan that out as we, prepare our own budget and hopefully anticipate, what some of those impacts could be. Perhaps be a little bit more cautious, be aware of what our rainy day fund is, and some of the resources that we might have to have available if we need to backfill it. But I really think the state is the one that really should be cautious in some of their decision making, especially as it relates to Medicaid and some other state federal programs out there.
Given your experience going through that, do you think the state will be cautious in the way they go about this?
It depends. The governor, we're in sort of the process where the governor introduces the budget. The finance committee is having hearings around the state.
Right.
The last few budgets, the Republican legislature has introduced their own budget. But obviously it includes some of the things that the governor included in his. So, I think the other thing for them to consider is, where are we economically? Things like tax cuts, if the economy looks like the forecast is good, are probably in order. If we look like we're heading towards a recession, you might want to be more cautious about cutting your revenue that just might not be there. Surplus is something that is forecasted, not something that necessarily exists. So when I say be cautious, it's about taking all of those things into consideration when you're making, decisions for 2 years.
Certainly with the economy and everything we've already talked about on the program today, there's a lot of uncertainty with that, and caution might be the better part of valor there, right? So let's go to Tuesday. You walk in the door, priorities, how would you lay them out?
Well, the board is meeting Tuesday night. There is an item on the board related to the UW-Fox campus, which UW-Oshkosh is closing.
Right.
Winnebago and Outagamie County currently own the property, and so the future of the property is ultimately going to be in the county's hands. Winnebago County is going to be taking it over, and is going to give them some time to figure out what the future use of that is going to be for public purpose. So that's going to be something that is immediate on day one. And then a lot of it is, it's like any new job, you're going to be drinking out of a fire hose for a little bit until you, get your feet. But really, it's about listening and then about sharing my goals and how I would like things done.
Well, Gordon, good luck with the new job, and thanks for taking the time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.